So here kind of brings you a happy but a bit sad video. This is the 1984 Isuzu KB2000. It's the G200 motor petrol. And yeah, this was the inspiration for starting Rex to Rides. Well, what can I say, I've done quite a few projects and I thought I'd make a YouTube just to sort of remember the projects by. But yeah, the strength and my health is really down. Smoking's got the better of me, and I mean, it took everything out of me just to polish the bonnet a bit this morning. So yeah, this is kind of as far as I've wanted to go with it. Um, but it's come a long way. Um, this was only in one accident ever. So there were a lot of dents. Let's just lock up. And what had happened was this back panel got damaged, and now we're not getting any focus. Let's give that a clean. That's probably better. Um, uh, and yeah, so that's sort of, keep moving, it will stay in focus. So this whole panel here was sort of cut and then done years ago by guys in the Air Force. The panel was replaced, and it had quite a lot of rust in here, but it's the only rust that happened on this car. So I've cut that out, welded new stuff in, primed it, and the whole, basically, okay, what have we done here? The whole back has come off, whole bucky's been stripped down, nut and bolt restoration, everything, diff, prop shaft, the whole lot done. And so we've achieved quite a bit. There was a lot of rust on the inside here. You can see the inner fender liners have still not been installed and resprayed. So yeah, it's maybe not the most amazing spray jobs, but it works. Now, the first problem was the electrical and security. So what I've had to do is install central locking, and obviously for convenience, but a whole immobilizer system, which is homemade, is dependent on that central locking to be unlocked. So you can see when the light is green, it's active, and when it's red, it's not. Yeah, it's now red. Look, I mean, these are dead easy to break into, and what's happened with this one was this bottom cowling had been broken off, so I did manage to find another one. I had to repair it. It's maybe not the greatest of repairs, but to find one is pretty much impossible. Otherwise, the entire interior, I've not actually had to give it a lot of attention because it's been well maintained, and basically, apart from just sorting out the trim, spraying stuff, fixing stuff, I mean, the seats haven't even needed a clean. The door cards all in great nick. There's a bit of that plastic missing, and yeah, that's it. So I mean, when it's immobilized, this is the ignition, and nothing is going to happen, nothing whatsoever. Um, there's a number of security measures which I put in, none of which I'm going to discuss here, but everything is working. So essentially, when your car is unlocked, what you can do is now operate it, and it's got an ignition on, and then a push button start. And this has been standing for a year now, and I started it up yesterday, and it actually started first turn, charging, oil pressure good, temperature, everything. It's got no fuel in, so yeah, that's sort of the lights, everything is working. Does need fresh fuel, and yeah, it does need that. It's been standing for a year with like no. So again, when it's locked, and there's a number of security measures because these are easy to steal and they're very desirable, so they do get stolen often. It's been entirely stripped out and resprayed, as you can see. I don't know about the spray job. It's kind of amateurish, but you know, it's pretty comprehensive. But a hell of a job getting the. She managed to find a rear view mirror, and yeah, the wheels. I wanted to actually paint them. Then not lock the keys in and put maybe some bars, side bars down the side, but you know, you take the wheels off, then you got to replace the tires, which are well expired, and so it just hasn't been worth it for me anymore. You know, it's been sitting, energy's right down, and motivation is just not there, and you know, so it's essentially complete. It still has the original Isuzu grille. Have redone the front grille, front bumper, everything. So let's take a look under the hood and see what we've done here. And that's what it looks like. So here is standing. It probably took about 300 mils of coolant. There's some hooters in, and everything is original and in place. And the only thing I have done is mechanical fuel pump doesn't work, so I've replaced it with this. That's a feed from the fuel pump, and then a T-piece to return to keep it circulating to prevent the float chamber from filling up. But other than that, everything, and I've cut this off. This was just a summer winter thing. Problem is it was damaging the bogey cords. I cannot find bogey cords this long, and you can't really buy kits. So on the electrical, we've done a hell of a lot, replaced a hell of a lot, and got it all functioning fully. It does have the original coil, so you know you've got to use that for as long as it lasts, and because the newer ones don't really last. So it's it on the bonnet. Everything is there. Everything is complete. This is the original little roll bar. It even has a original tonneau cover. It's not on now because I left it on. It's got two struts, and the rain sort of filled up and bent them. So load bin is sorted, rust free, lots of drain holes in. These things have to have drain holes. Yeah, then in the back, brand new lights, new everything. It did have this little step, and I fitted a tow bar to it with a little Isuzu on there. So that's all. This doesn't belong here. I have extras, and they go on the sides, but I wanted it there because it sort of finishes off what it should look like as far as I'm concerned. The one thing I'm not happy with is, you know, I did round this corner, um, you know, after it was standing here, then got a bit of a dent from a steel table in here, so I had to redo it. So I've rounded this corner off nicely, and this one is still original. So they just overlapped it. It's a 1984. That's how they did things in those days. There was a very, very little chassis rust, and very little work done to the interior. So the motor was a complete mystery for many years from the previous owner. Every time they did the head, oil and water mix, no matter how many times they skimmed it. And it actually turns out that the head was never tested under operating temperature, and the valve, or the head, had a crack that would only appear under operating temperature, and that explains why they never got it right. So it came to me like that, and you know, ran it and saw it was mixing. Then I sent it to a mechanic called Herman, who's now a mechanic. And the one thing that's come out of this, I actually took this motor out myself, bit by bit. You know, I didn't even use the engine lift. I just took it bit by bit, put it in the back of the bucket, and I said, "Yeah, rebuild." And the problem is, by the time we'd found the problem with the head and welded it up, it had been skimmed so many times. You just got to use such a high octane fuel; it wasn't going to work. But luckily, I found another motor, and we replaced the head. This head's in excellent condition, and the whole water pump cover and housing in the front here, much better condition than the last. So the engine's 100%. I mean, it started first time after literally standing, for a year. I've had to sort out the battery, but other than that, um, very, very little else, but a lot of bodywork, just a hell of a lot of bodywork, a lot of dents, and I don't think I've done too bad a job. It's pretty straight, and yeah, it started. So I've sort of reached the point where I don't have the energy, I don't have the health, and I just don't have the motivation to carry it over the finish line, and all the finances, because the wheels alone, it's going to cost me over 10 grand, and I just can't really. So I've decided it's going to Hadmon, because this was the first project that he did, and he's been really, yeah, he really took ownership of it, and he finished it, and he loves this bucky. I mean, I love this bucky, but he'll use it. You know, it it will be used, and that's the main thing. Because why you have the pleasure of building something, and I think I've done a great job of it. Now everything's been replaced with stainless steel bolts. You can see up from the polish, and I mean, this is crazy. This little Y piece from Isuzu costs 170 rand. It's just mental. But it still has the original little windshield sprayers, and they work, and everything's working. So yeah, I think all in all, it's um it's been a long project. It's been a good project. It's been a fun project. I've learned a lot, put a lot into it, but I got a lot out of it. And yeah, it's pretty much for me. This rear end really does it for me. So for me, it's time to say goodbye. And yeah, it's got to go to a loving home. And I know he's going to use it, and he's going to drive it, and he's going to enjoy it. It's going to have his branding on, and that's great, because he's a good lad, great mechanic, very, very, very trustworthy, and he's just a decent old school guy in a young guy's body, and it's not really something you find that often. So I think it's going to become a bit of a showpiece for him, and let him drive around, and you know I don't think it'll get stolen, not with all the security measures in. And yeah, let some good come of this. Let the project go, well, let the car go to a good home, and a home that um, is going to look after it, and is going to be using it for a long time. This is I've done previous projects, but this was the beginning of Rex to Rides. It's not really a channel with an identity, because I don't care about an identity. I really appreciate everyone who subscribes and follows and comments, and all of that. But there's various interests, and I just like making videos. I like to record what I've done. I mean, this thing came in non-running rust all over the body, nothing working, and I think it's built up into something really great. So, you know, who wouldn't want to document that, as well as, you know, I mean, there's a lot of other things. There's, you know, a lot of the cars, there's like 280E, and that's quite a rare one. So it might be up for grabs soon. And you don't see a lot of 280Es around, that's for sure. And you know, with the lock sport and everything, it's quite a community I've got, and that alone is something for me to be proud of as an achievement. But this was really the start of it, and I really want to thank all you guys for subscribing. It's not my last video. I'll no doubt make more videos, but I don't know if I have another rebuild in me. Um, I really don't know where life is going to take me, and so I think it's time to just say goodbye and let it go to a really, really good home and let him enjoy it. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and stay tuned for the next one.